I think my passion especially for yarn, for wool, comes from my country, from Uruguay, where I was born and raised. And wool was something readily available. And there was a special organization that wanted to give jobs to rural women. And while the men were taking care of the sheep and the wool, the women were hand dyeing the wool. So this organization is up to today. They are still dyeing the wool the same way, in a handmade way, the same way they did it 50 years ago. Today I'm here to show you something that I enjoy very much making, because I call it free-form weaving. I learned how to weave when I was very young, but I think breaking the grid of the woven fabric, the horizontals and the vertical lines, the warp and the weft, attracts me a lot, because it's something very organic that you cannot predict how the final product is going to be. And also it's very creative, and you can do anything. Here I have in front of me, this piece is almost finished, and the reason why I'm starting to demonstrate a finished piece is because if I walk you backwards, you'll understand what you're making once you start the free-form weaving. So going backwards to the piece, you see that the frame of the piece has been here sewn with a very cheap piece of yarn. Usually I use something that wouldn't break easily, so an acrylic. So we are starting backwards, as I told you, and we are here cutting the frame off, because of course we want to get rid of the cardboard. With the frame here, we are ready to look at our piece. Can get rid of the cardboard, and here, voila! Here we are with the finished piece. This, I also like for you to have a look at this piece, because here I used a lot of different complex yarns, and some of them very, very simple yarns, and to form this composition. So let me show you some samples of this technique that I've been playing for a while. This, I wanted to make something the same color, even though they are different weights of yarn. Some of them are fluffy and hairy, and the other ones are like thick and thin yarn. Again, this is mostly all natural wool, and this one has not been dyed. Then here I did make a point in using very thick yarn with very thin yarn. And the interesting thing about this is the way it looks. It's very different the way it looks on this side and on that side. Okay. This was something that I was playing. This is embroidery thread, and I enjoy it very much, and also on felt. So this is not see-through like these are. It's simply something built on this, and it's not meant to be cut off. And I'll show you mainly because the borders are not ready. This is another piece that I did on canvas, on hemp canvas. This is a piece that it's important for me to keep, because the piece didn't didn't turn out the way I wanted it. The border was not properly done, so it's falling apart, as you can see. But I still want to keep it and have a look every now and then to my mistakes. This is something that, even though it has the look of a free-form weaving, I think it has more of the surface design and mixed media, because I first painted the canvas and then I intervene it. Yes, following the rules of the free-form weaving, but also embroidering and crochet. There's a little bit of everything in this piece that I enjoyed it a lot. Then I also wanted to show you this piece, because as you can see, this is a functional, I don't know if you can tell, it's a functional, let me show you, t-shirt. It's one side of the t-shirt, and a wearable, we could call it a wearable piece of art. And what I love about this piece is that I want to show the different textures of yarns. They are thick and thin. This is almost a unspun yarn, and I'm enjoying the process very much. But if you asked me how is it going to turn out to be, I really don't know. And that's the beauty of this, that it's very experimental and free form. Okay, so now we are ready to start. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting double the size of the circumference of this circle in order for me to have the frame of the piece. And another reason why I start with showing you a circle is because you don't have to deal with the borders. Like this one that I show you, there's a lot of reinforcement that you need to do, that you need to make on the borders. That's why I like to start with a round piece, because it's easier. In this piece has already, I already woven a lot of different textures and different weights of yarn, and I want to demonstrate like how this would be the thickest yarn. Another thing I want to talk to you about is how to deal with the ends, because the ends, anybody that sews or knits or even make art with yarn or threads, you always have to deal with the ends. So that is why this is a great way of beginning a piece of yarn, and there's no end there, what I show you right now. One thing I always tell the people that want to learn this technique is that there is no technique. You make your own technique and just keep on weaving, keep on adding color and textures and different weights of yarn, and you see that after a while of working, it's not going to be a great piece in half an hour. It's going to take your time, but I think after you enjoy the tactile experience of dealing with the nicest yarns, you love the outcome also. This is part of the experimental materials. Not only I'm experimenting with the technique of weaving, of freeform weaving, but I also am experimenting with materials. And because we've been talking so much about discarded materials that nobody wants anymore, I found some old cassette tapes from my kids. This is Dr. Seuss, Managing Stress, and so I wove this cassette tape onto this frame, and the frame is videotape. This is really the background, and after this I'm gonna start playing, but it's not there yet. But I wanted to show you the experimental materials here. And another experimental material is this, that even though I did it, I think it's the only piece I'm showing you in an actual loom. This is more of a portable loom. This is a copper wire that has, you probably cannot see it, but it has little LED lights, and I've been weaving also very free form with this material.